Happy Valentine's Day from us here at the Supernaturals. We are your hosts, Jake and Cal.
And Soul.
And Soul just came upstairs, so we got Soul. But yeah, how have you all been? I mean, it's been a month.
Yeah.
This has been
It feels like forever.
A little over a month.
It feels like forever though.
It does feel like forever.
We can't wait to be in front of you guys and back with you guys every week.
Yeah. To get back into the groove of things. Obviously, if you've kept up with our podcast for what is this, the third year now?
Yeah.
You probably, well, I guess it's only the second year of off seasons. So if you were here last year, you probably know January is a little bit of a rough patch for us because we are just so focused on, really just the next season.
Prepping for the next season.
And because our seasons are becoming just like bigger and greater and things like that, it's a lot more planning that goes into these.
Actually, I'm scared for you.
Soul.
My coffee to be there. No, well, Soul, and because I've seen
and
you
because I've hit the
too.
table. Yeah, you're not wrong there.
Like I just see it going all over the floor, and I would just get up and walk out of this.
Yeah,
right now.
No, I get it, dude.
I can't handle any more today.
Today has been a rough day.
High strung.
And honestly, February is rough for all of us single lads.
That's true.
And lasses.
But you know what? The 14th isn't for just love. It can be friendship, family.
We talked about that in the last year's episode. It can be.
And here we are once again with just friendship and family.
See, but the thing is, though,
I'm okay with it.
Jake and I definitely tried.
That's true.
And I think we can go a little bit into that. And how
try is a stretch. You tried definitely more than
definitely
me.
tried.
Yeah.
You kind of dipped your toes back in the water.
I literally put my foot back in the water, said it's cold, and pulled it back out. Quite literally, actually, right?
Yeah. So, okay, obviously, I think this will be fun because at some point in the future, when we do have like steady girlfriends and stuff,
holy shit.
But it'll be like they'll
bring her on and stuff. Yeah,
I think that'll be kind of fun. But as of right now, I mean, for all of our single audience members, we're right there with you.
Yeah.
Yet again.
I feel like with horror loving, that's just kind of how it is sometimes.
Yeah, I think
you always. I get that impression at least.
Yeah, but well, I will say, what's kind of cool is that really almost everything in our lives has changed in the last year.
It's true. Other
than having a girlfriend.
Yeah, but that's okay.
It's beneficial for. I'd like
look.
Maybe
let's put it into perspective here, right?
Yeah.
Had things had worked out in either of our favors, for better or for worse,
we'll dive into in a second. Don't worry.
Right, yeah.
We'll tell a little bit of a vague story.
Who knows how much energy that would have sucked out of us?
No, I think
the energy that we are leading up to season 3 with, and further projects, right?
I would agree.
And you might come at me and be like, well, you got to put time in for a relationship. We get that. It's not saying we wouldn't. Yep. It would be hard to do all of the above.
Mm-hmm.
But it kind of worked in our favor to do some really cool things.
It did.
This coming season.
It did. I do want to reiterate that, well, actually, believe it or not, again, if you've been following along, last season, we kind of did some cosmic-y type episodes where it's like the universe kind of is in control of stuff, like the astral projection episode, it was like, oh, are we really just human beings? Like we're just bags of meat, or are we like in touch with the universe in deeper ways? And that was one of the conversations that we had. But I do think, it is interesting how, whether it's religion or whatever it is that you kind of hold on to, it is pretty interesting that it always does seem to push you into where you're supposed to be. We've talked about it on this podcast many times, many a time, but yeah, for all my Witcher fans out there, Destiny, just can't argue it. But yeah, it's like, I had a job coming out of college and I decided I wanted to write books. I said, screw the job. I'm going to go. It was for my major. It was a journalism job. And I said, screw it. I'm going to go write books. And I wrote 3 books, but it helped me really become closer to Jake. I've known Jake like my entire life, but
it's true. We didn't really become close until we lived together.
Yeah, I would say like the summer before, because we definitely we were partying like every weekend.
That was a wild time.
That was a fun time.
Yeah. Maybe a story for another day.
But yeah, it was like, my best friend, his brother, he was like, I'm going to go live with my brother and some other dude shout out Conrad up in Denver. And I was like, you know what? F it, dude. Like, let's do it. And so instead of doing the one path, I'm now here. And one day, Jake comes down and he goes, dude, I want to start a podcast. And I was like, it'd be sick. And I was giving him ideas and stuff, but it was supposed to be with somebody else.
It was, yeah.
And then that dude backed out. So then all of a sudden it was like, hey, Cal, you want to do this podcast with me? And the rest is history. But yeah, I mean, if you think that there were many times throughout this whole, 4-year journey where I was just like, God, like, did I choose the right path? It's like, yeah, eventually you'll reach the point where you're like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the same way with relationships. You have something, and I think that me being the worst at it, because I always go back. Mm-hmm. I'm a sucker for second chances, man. 3rd chances, 4th chances, like all the chances. I'll give you all the chances until I genuinely get fed up.
And I sit there going, bro, I don't think this is a good idea. But eventually I just shut my mouth and let them do them, because you can only say so much and it's not your life.
No. And I also think, it's like, okay, what didn't work the first time? And maybe things have changed, and it's not like I just go,
maybe they've changed.
Exactly. And so
that's the biggest like misleading thing though, is people might like show you that they've changed or put that on that like facade, right?
Yeah.
But they actually don't.
They actually don't. And I know about that. No, but it's like, I think that it's not really a waste of time to go back unless you make it a waste of time, if that makes sense. Like, I have definitely learned from each and every time I've gone back to an ex. And I think that now I'm at this point where I'm very content with being by myself, to the point where I'm actually almost afraid to like go back out there, not because I'm afraid of a relationship, but because I'm afraid of not having my alone time anymore, not having, the stuff that I've gotten so used to. But I do want to have a relationship and that connection and things like that. So obviously I'm just going to get over the fear and eventually it'll work out, but it does help in not forcing stuff.
Right.
Which is really nice to have.
I've always been a big one on finding people through mutual friends. It's actually where I've been the most interested in people, but it has not worked out.
It has not worked out. Yeah, well, you tried.
I did twice.
You can go first.
Twice.
Let's go into Jake's. What I wanted to do to start this episode, because I really wanted to talk about the episode first.
Well, we kind of just flowed into it.
We did. But what I'm just to back up just 2 seconds before Jake tells his story. We did want to start this episode. Like, don't worry, we'll get to the spooky stuff.
Oh yeah.
But we did want to kind of start by saying like, hey,
here's a little life update.
Yeah, it's been a month and we haven't really talked about our personal lives that much on the pod very much. I mean, I know the New Year's special we talked about, it's been a crazy year.
Yeah.
We haven't really talked about love. And I'll tell you right now, the only thing that like I actually want to talk about love on the podcast is like the Valentine's Day special, because maybe you can connect with it. Maybe you have a similar story.
And maybe just like next year too, obviously, right? Doing it again. Yeah. But maybe we just give another life update. Hey guys, it's been a year.
It would be kind of cool to like go back and or maybe one of our listeners like puts together like a compilation. Like, let's say we do Valentine's for 10 years.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's like each Valentine's, they just put together each conversation about our lives. And then it's just like, it just shows year after year.
And if we still don't have girlfriends, our beards will just start being longer and longer.
Man, I might do that regardless of whether I have a girlfriend or not, bro. I'm trying to look like Gandalf the Grey. But yeah. Anyway, so we'll just hit you with a little bit of our love lives that are non-existent before we dive into the spooky stuff, because and I promise it won't be that long for the people who are just like, let's get to the spooky stuff. But
you can skip ahead if you really want to, I guess.
I don't know. Jake, take it away. What has happened in the life of Jake? Your love life.
Well, I don't really think I've talked about the span of it at all. Really?
No, you haven't said anything about this situation.
Well, I'm not talking just the specific one person. I'm talking like the span of like from when I left high school, basically, right? Because, well, I was still in high school dating this one girl for a while. That went on for 6 years.
Yeah, and then not much.
Crazy. Well, yeah.
It's a joke, but not really.
That's true. That's true. I did think I found my person right out of high school. I thought, wow, I found a girl that's got the same values as me, the same kind of mentality, was ready for life. It's kind of, but I thought I had a high school sweetheart, right?
Yeah.
The thing you see in rom-coms, the thing you see in any type of movie show, and you're just like, damn, that connection's real.
Yeah.
I thought I had that.
Yeah.
Turns out I didn't. I went on a cruise, and that really opened my eyes, I think. It's kind of sad, though, because I really enjoyed being around her a lot. And the more I grew older, which the more I grew into my partying phase, let's be honest, because I was just turning 21, 22 at the end, towards the end of that relationship. And they weren't about that, which was fine. I didn't force anything upon them or anything like that. They made their own decisions. But, I find it funny, like, after the fact, like, I was trying to get her out of my head after we had broken up. And, they send those texts. They linger in your head, right? Oh, yeah. And I was just I tried this. I tried that. I tried this. I'm having so much fun. You were right. Maybe about some things, but probably not all.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of wild. Like, I thought that was it. And then after a few years, pass, I kind of forget about her, move into more college-y, after college relationship type things. But I've never had something as stable, I'd say, maybe. We were on and off at the very beginning, but then it became pretty solid. And I haven't had that since. I've had, things here and there. Situationships, I guess is what they call them nowadays. I don't even know what the fuck that is. But I don't even know what that is. Yeah. Is it like friends with benefits? I don't know.
That's all it pretty much is, at least from what I've discovered.
So why is it called something different?
Because it doesn't sound as bad. It's not just like, I don't know.
Gotcha.
All it is, like, nowadays, just people just want to hook up.
It's true. It's
true.
Okay. Don't get me wrong. There's some fun things about one night stands and just kind of doing your thing, but also, like, I want that genuine connection.
Yeah, I'm good on that.
And I think one thing that stalled is, after I had broken up with her after 6 years, right? I kind of put my life first and stopped worrying about relationships.
Yeah.
And I kind of just grinded at work. I got a internship that turned into my job that I currently have now, and was trying to just be the best I could at that. And I did. And I went up the ranks in my workplace pretty high. And now I'm kind of at the point where I'm like, I kind of want to settle down. We have our business in the podcast, it's going pretty well, but I just like want that genuine connection.
Absolutely.
And now with this hookup culture, it's hard. It's so hard.
Social media and how easy it is for people to cheat on each other.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. It's so funny how there's times when I'm just like, I'm ready to get back into like a relationship kind of thing. And then all of a sudden I hear or read like a cheating story and I'm like, yeah, never mind. I'm all good on that.
So fast forward a little bit of my life.
To just this year.
Basically the end of the year.
Yeah.
Probably not ideal.
Yeah.
Holiday season.
Cuffing season, as the cool kids call it.
Yeah, brutal. I started meeting some friends through going out and going to some shows and stuff, concerts and like things like that. And I started meeting a bunch of people, mutual friends and stuff. And I eventually met this one person. I guess if she's listening, Oof. You might know it's about you. Oof. Oof. Doubtful, but you never know.
Yeah.
I met this person I instantly connected with, and they kind of liked all similar things I did. And just felt really easy. A couple times meeting them throughout the weeks, you know, going to shows and concerts and all the good stuff, hanging out, talking in their car for a while. I'm just like, you know what? I kind of like this person. They're a vibe. And I'm mentally in my head, just huge dilemma of what should I do? Should I just like wait it out, just be friends, be casual, or should I just fucking ask her out?
Yeah.
And I went back and forth on that decision so much. And I eventually was just like, you know what? I'm gonna fucking call her. Bold move. Maybe not the right one. Actually wasn't the right one because it didn't work out. But you know, in my heart, I felt like it was the right decision. So I called and she didn't pick up. But I asked her out, right? Yeah. It looked like positive signs.
Yeah.
And then she told me she was going to be busy during Christmas week, which I respected.
Yep.
And I was like, I get it. No worries. And then all of a sudden, I just got crickets. Nothing. Silence.
Chirp.
You're like, what the fuck? And the worst thing for a human is the ambiguous feeling you get of just wondering what the fuck's going on, right?
Yeah. That's quick pause. If you ghost your ass, you need to just man up and tell them, hey, I'm not interested. Then it's done. You're good.
Yeah.
But like keeping people hanging out to dry,
I would have respected that so much and not worried about it anymore.
Most people would.
It was just a simple, hey, you want to go out? That was it, right?
Yeah.
And if you say no hard feelings.
Yeah.
I'm not like that attached to you.
Exactly. But
I sit there, right, yeah, for weeks going, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I don't hear anything, right? And I'm like, I'm just going to do me, go do whatever. And all of a sudden, who pops up on my phone? Texting me.
The girl.
Yeah. And I go, are you fucking serious?
Yeah, but it was totally unrelated though.
It was so unrelated. And I was just like, the moment I get you out of my head, you just want to pop back in. And yeah, it's just been like that with girls. They just do that recently to me. And I'm just like, I can't, I'm not here for the games. I'm going to ask you out. If you don't want to go out, fine.
Yeah,
no big deal.
On. Yeah.
But when you try to do these, even if you're not intentionally playing games,
yeah,
it fucks with people's head.
Oh, it absolutely does.
And you got to stop that shit.
Got to stop it.
Yeah. So that's basically my little
it just
story.
Kind of ended, right?
Yeah, but I still see her all the time.
Yeah. Well, who knows? Maybe there's something there. You never know. I mean, maybe all of a sudden one night something happens. I don't know. I'm not going to put that, like, get your hopes up. I'm just saying, like,
my hopes aren't up.
My stuff, on the other hand, is like an absolute zero because I've already done it 3 times.
Yeah. Yeah. So moral of the story, don't ghost. It's stupid. Just tell someone the truth. It doesn't matter. Yeah. It's not that serious.
Yeah.
End of my story.
So yeah, me on the other hand, fuck.
Where to begin?
Well, I guess we can say I met this girl back in college at a bar. Don't usually meet girls at bars. I wasn't supposed to go out that night, and it was one of those nights where you just get dragged along, and then all of a sudden
I was there.
You were there. And Jake, you were there for like the whole thing. But it's so funny because it's like, you know, I guess it's like there's a little bit of a force when you like a forced feeling when you meet somebody on like Hinge or something.
Right.
Versus like naturally meeting somebody. And it almost feels like I wasn't supposed to be here tonight. And yet I met somebody that I think is really cool. And that in your head, the hopeless romantic in me, you know, got excited and I was like, oh, this is awesome. And so I dated that girl for a little bit back in college. I graduated. We went on a trip. Things were good. And then one day, well, it was kind of a gradual decline, but a lot of overthinking, a lot of, I guess not like unsureness, uncertainty is what I'll say, like in the relationship, kind of on her part, kind of fizzled out. And so to me, it left me thinking, well, what the hell did I do to make her feel this way?
As it does.
As it does.
Yeah.
And so I get, my mom, she knows all about this stuff, but she called it wishy-washy, which is where it's like one day, she was super into me.
Super fickle.
The next day, you could say fickle too. Yeah. The next day, she was just very distant and pushed me away. And that really messed with my head. So I actually ended up, she was almost in a way keeping that going. And I was forced to say, this is not good for my mental health. I'm done. I'm pulling away. Life went on. And then I met her, our New Year's episode. I brought this up and Jake was there and all that. But yeah, I met her New Year's. Shouldn't have met her at all that night. Just a completely random thing. She's into like country dancing and stuff. And we met at a like a football bar.
Well, that and we usually don't go out on New Year's. And that
just
that
one
year,
time
we go to a
happens.
bar.
And she lives, I don't know, an hour away from where I live. And it just like, again, it was one of those things where it's like, oh my God, like I'm in the situation where she
put us in the same spot.
You see what I mean? Yeah. So in my head, I'm like, oh, is this a legit? Well, that didn't really go anywhere. Like we kind of talked a little bit, but again, it just like the conversation fizzled. It was done. That didn't lead into anything. And then we moved up to this house. Well, I guess we were already up here, weren't we? Or no, that was when. Yeah, no, we were up here. That was our first year.
Yeah.
And then 2024. Early part of 2024 was when her and I reconnected again. We got coffee, did all that.
Yeah.
And my guy, I'll tell you, at first I was like, let's just see how it goes. And there was one date that we had. We did a wine and paint night. And boy, I fell, man. Oh my God. I don't know why. It was just like, it was such an awesome date that it was definitely the best like date I've ever had. And I was sitting there and I'm just like, wow, this is fantastic. And then you wake up the next day, you're thinking, hey, this is going to go somewhere. And she's on her wishy-washy stuff again. And I thought, okay, so in my head, I'm thinking this date was fantastic. And in her head, she's like, I don't know. And that's the worst, is when you feel, that like, it's not, I guess, like reciprocated.
Like the level you want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, time goes on and, it is what it is. I found myself, checking her damn, Instagram. I was doing the whole Instagram stalking thing that everybody does, and I mean, we still followed each other.
Does everybody do that?
I would imagine most people do. Yeah. I think that when you kind of miss somebody, you go to their Instagram and you just are like, damn, like, I wish I could have done these memories with you. I wish I could have done. I mean, that's at least how I felt, that is what it is. But regardless, didn't happen. And I was moving on. And then fucking last year, St. Patrick's Day, we go out.
Here she comes again.
For kegs and eggs, which is this awesome thing. I love doing it every year. Going again this year.
It is a fun time.
And sure enough, I post a picture of like all of us, like me and the boys and stuff, all on the Instagram story. Oh, she likes the story. And that was the start of number 3.
Okay, is liking a story like a sign that I like you, or a sign that I just like your story?
To me, it's a sign of it. It depends on the story.
Yeah.
And when you have an ex-girlfriend coming out and liking your story
out of nowhere,
yeah. And it's you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on. You didn't like any of the other stories. It just happened to be that one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, obviously she was, because
I know.
So anyway,
it was more just like a rhetorical question into the audience. Right?
I would say it depends.
Yeah.
But yeah. So then we tried again this year. And it was crazy because I was heartbroken as hell the second time, like the 2 years ago or whatever. And or a year ago or whatever it was, 2024. But this time I was a lot more like, whatever happens, happens. Honestly, in my head, I was like, this is not going to last, but it'd be sick if it did. That's kind of how it felt. There's a line in New Girl.
It's a cool mentality to have, but also it's like, it's not the forever mentality. So it kind of sucks in the back of your head.
You know what's crazy though, is I think because there wasn't these expectations, like, so there's a quote in New Girl where Nick Miller, love Nick, but he goes, I know this isn't going to end well, but the in-between part is going to be so fun. And that's exactly how that was my mentality. True. It was like, okay, I know this probably isn't going to. And so I didn't have expectations. And I'll be honest with you, it was the most fun I've ever had with this girl. It honestly was the closest that we were to being like a legit like thing, like, I mean, it really was like, wow. I mean, she bought a new house. I helped her move. Crazy stuff, man. I mean, we were always hanging out. We lived like an hour away, like I said, but the drive was fun. We were hanging out, fun dates. God, man. I mean, it was really fun. I introduced her to my new group of friends. She introduced me to her new group of friends. Things were great. We had plans for, future things, which was cool. And there wasn't really any of the wishy-washiness. There wasn't any of that. And then she had to go home back to her parents' house for, I don't know, a month or something. And she left.
Which is just an absurd amount of time, though. Like, I get, like, you don't see them that often, but
yeah,
it fucked everything
up. It fucked everything up. Yeah, because she went, and I was like, I told you she liked country music and stuff and line dancing, and I don't know how to dance. I'm 6'7". I'm a giant. I'd trip over my own 2 feet. And I was literally, it was to the point where I was so serious about this. Like, I was learning how to line dance. I think I still know how to do at least the little basics that she taught me.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Will I ever use those? Probably not. But it's like, that was how serious I was about the whole thing. And then, yeah, she just, she started getting kind of pulled away. And I realized something when she was pulling away. I was like, I have a weakness for this girl. I do. Every time she hits me up, or whatever, I have to
right at the moment you kind of were
I was starting to get back into it. Yeah, I was starting to. And so, yeah, I don't know. It was, I have some great memories, but what's cool is that I was able to cherish those. I didn't have closure any of the other times. And this time I was able to be like, that was it. I can officially close the door on this chapter of my life. And yeah, it ended. She told me, she's like, I just don't want to repeat of what I've done the last 2 times or whatever. And I'm like, well, you know what? I think that even we're having this conversation, which means you already are. And I think that to me was, and so I stopped. She was texting me. I just stopped texting her. I was like, this, you know what? We don't have to do this big old, like, it's over. Obviously I can tell she's like pulling back, and I'm like, I'm just going to make this easy. So I stopped replying. I deleted the text conversation, of all the fucking months that we were dating and stuff. And then all of a sudden it was like, I unfollowed her on Instagram, which was a big step for your boy.
Yeah, because he never did.
I never did. And I think that was a problem. And so, yeah, I unfollowed her, and I thought, yeah, you know what?
The thing is, I've always heard that when you have to unfollow, or maybe not have to, but you choose to, right?
Yeah.
And you do.
Yeah.
You definitely cared for that person. And it's like 100%, but you need them out of sight.
Yeah.
You do.
Well,
otherwise you're going to be like, damn,
exactly.
Maybe I should like her photo,
exactly.
or send her 100%. A message.
That's what I was doing in between the second and the third time I dated her.
Oh, I know.
It was, of course he knows, but and honestly, my moral of the story is, if you have a weakness for somebody, yeah, I think you should try to just get rid of them. Everything about them. Because I realized that with her, even just following her on Instagram and seeing some of the stuff that she's up to, I thought to myself, I'm like, man, one day, like, you could never truly move on, is like what I'm saying. Right. And one day I knew that, she'd probably find another guy, and I'd have to see those pictures, and I know that would suck.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that.
And rather just not know.
Just not know. Yeah. And then I'll be able to move on and just be like, I have no idea what's going on with her in her life.
Yeah.
I'm just doing my own thing, focusing on myself, and that's all I can do. And I think that that's a big deal. So, yeah. Well, there's our love lives. All right. Well, now that all that shit is out of the way, all the sappy shit, because, we are a spooky podcast. we probably should put at the beginning of this episode that the spooky shit starts at like 30 minutes into the episode. So just so you guys know.
Something like that.
But anyway, yes, now that the sappy shit is out of the way, we are going to get a little spooky. And yes, you guys showed out. We have 2 creepy Valentine's Day stories from our listeners that we will be reading later in the episode. So stay tuned for that. But first, I wanted to do something similar to what we did last year. Found a couple stories online that were just a little too freaky to not share. And honestly, it helps us single folk realize that, you know, it really isn't that bad being single at all. So let's start with a dark history. So for starters, there's one thing I wanted to do that we did in our St. Patrick's Day episode that we didn't do in our last Valentine's Day episode. And that was look at the dark history of the holiday. Like, honestly, what the hell is Valentine's Day? You know?
Why do we celebrate
any guesses, Jake? I'm actually asking.
I know why.
Why?
Isn't it about the guy, St. Valentine?
Yeah, but like, do you know anything about him?
No.
Okay. So yes, it is based on, it's just like St. Patrick's Day.
I know there's some like
based on St. Patrick.
Things named after him and stuff too, like schools and holidays, obviously.
So yes, Jake is right. It is in fact named after the main man, St. Valentine. He lived in the 3rd century CE. He was a priest during the Roman Empire. Well, the Roman Empire at the time had an emperor named Claudius II. Claudius also had another name for himself, Claudius the Cruel. This was due to his harsh punishments and unfair treatments of everyone who was below him, which was, well, everyone. Well, Claudius wished to get more men to join the Roman army, but it just wasn't happening. He then came to the conclusion that it was due to men in the empire being so in love with their wives that they didn't wish to join the army and leave them for long periods of time. Therefore, Claudius the Cruel actually outlawed marriage. Straight up said, no more weddings. Y'all are going to be single forever. Well, St. Valentine, although his actual identity was never discovered, would meet couples in the sewers and other places in the shadows that nobody would dare to look and would actually wed couples. St. Valentine is a homie for sure.
So he's almost Cupid in a sense.
But sadly, Claudius discovered the secret weddings and actually ordered St. Valentine be clubbed to death.
Jeez Louise.
Not only that, but, well, they also then cut his head off.
If clubbing wasn't enough, right?
Yeah. So St. Valentine died on, you guessed it, February 14th in the year of 2070 CE. So if you're in love with somebody and you're going out for a nice dinner and are enjoying each other's company, well, let's not forget to pour one out for Mr. St. Valentine.
True.
Cheers to St. Valentine. Moving on. I still like the St. Patrick stuff more because the St. Patrick stuff is like mythological as hell. And I love that shit. Dullahan and all that, dude.
Dullahan's story was sweet.
Yeah. It's just the Headless Horseman. Go back and check that episode out if you haven't seen it yet. That was awesome. Anyway, the next story that I found, the Stardust nightclub incident. Now, this is actually sad as all hell. So, but now it's time to
cry a little bit.
I'm actually serious. This is really fucked up. So it was February 13th, 1981 in Dublin, Ireland, which is crazy that we just talked about this. Anyway, people were gathered in the Stardust nightclub for the special St. Valentine's Eve disco event that was being put on. Inside the building, there were 841 people dancing, singing, and partying the night away. Around 1:30 in the morning, a few partygoers spotted flames rising from multiple parts of the nightclub. The fire spread to a storage room where staff attempted to stop it, but failed. The flames eventually reached 45-gallon drums of cooking oil, which is insanely flammable if you do not know. By 1:45, the fire had engulfed the ceiling tiles, causing melting debris to fall from above. The DJ attempted to calm everyone down as the lights stopped working. Panic ensued and people were quickly trying to find a way out of the club. Many partygoers found the fire exits and tried to escape through them, but failed as doors were either locked or with a padlock or they were blocked by a table from the outside. Apparently, those were put in place to stop people from breaking in, which is like, what? They're blocking the fire exits and locking
that is crazy.
Insane.
So chill out, bro. Jesus.
Chaos ensued after. Many mistook the men's bathroom as the main exit. Mass trampling followed. First of many firefighters arrived and entered the building where a shit ton of bodies were laid on top of one another. They carried out 15 already deceased individuals. Hospitals were full of wounded. Overall, 48 people died, 46 in the fire and 2 later at the hospital. 214 people were injured pretty badly. The incident was also linked to the suicides of 25 other people. Insanely sad.
And, it's kind of weird that it's kind of been a common theme across the couple episodes of this trampling suffocation incidents that have occurred.
Yeah.
It's so wild.
Well, it is. You brought it up, the Travis Scott thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I think that when you get too many people like drunk or drugged up or whatever, and they're at these
even
festivals,
sober, you just can't get out.
Exactly. And if you lose your footing and you fall underneath that, I mean,
you're probably not getting up.
It's so crazy to think about like how somebody dies from that. But it's like, I mean, I don't know. When I'm walking through, I'm a big ass dude. And if I'm walking and I like trip on something, I'll be like, oh shit, my bad. Like, I don't know how somebody could just keep like stepping on somebody and being like, oh yeah.
Because you're packed like this. And
this
you're
is
shoulder to shoulder or chest to back with somebody or chest to their side or whatever. You can't move.
Yeah, crowds are crazy, man.
Yeah, even then it's just like you can't even let the person up because you have no room yourself.
Yeah. Insane.
Mm-hmm.
So the incident showed how important fire safety is and how important it is that rules are followed. They're put in place for a reason, and the reason is safety to be a top priority. So next time you're thinking about breaking some rules, just, double think that.
It reminds me of the John Summit incident where they threw a free show and people just started breaking down the gates to get in.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Started breaking down the fences and like rushing security.
Yeah.
It's like now you just have to make sure people are safe because you broke rules and now there's too many people here.
Yeah. I think you're just kind of a dick if you do that kind of stuff. But I'm sure a lot of people do. I mean, I don't know. It
fucking
personally,
crazy.
It's like,
it's just wild.
Just follow the rules, man. It's really not that hard.
No.
I mean, I know people want to be like, I'm a fucking rebel, dude. Yeah, fucking ooh. But it's like, bro, you're not cool. Follow the rules. Safety, like they're put in place for safety. Otherwise, an incident like this could happen and it's a problem. Mm-hmm. So I'm just throwing that out there. Anyway, the main cause of the fire was officially ruled an electrical issue.
Interesting.
However, it is widely believed that it was caused by arson. Who or why, we may never know, but nobody has been charged with anything, not even charged for the neglect of safety rules. However, it is important to know that there are still some dedicated people out there that are trying to solve who was responsible for this night of tragedy. So that is it from Cal. Now, Jake will be leading us into... Actually, I still need my phone. Jake will be leading us into our listener stories, and let us all sit back, relax, and pay attention.
Yeah, do that.
Because I don't get to do this very often. So,
story number 1 brings us to a wild experience by one individual. I usually don't tell people about these experiences because I get you were just seeing things or you were just young and were probably dreaming. Something to that extent. I'll also say that I've never had a paranormal experience / encounter since, and I am very thankful for it. The fear and confusion that comes from seeing certain things has a lasting effect on the mind and is not something that I've forgotten. I get very emotional speaking about these nights in particular, but here it goes. My first encounter was when I was very young. I believe I was around 5 or 6 when it occurred. My household growing up was a very dark environment. My dad was an abusive alcoholic who would do emotional and physical harm to my 2 siblings, myself and my mom. We never really had much, but aside from abuse, we stayed together and loved one another. I'm not sure if it was the energy of that place or something that had happened there before that caused what I saw either. My sister had been kicked out by my dad at this time. I was sleeping with her regularly. I was young and scared of the dark, and generally, I just didn't want to sleep alone. But one night, I woke up suddenly facing the window of my room. It being a small single-wide trailer, the rooms weren't big at all. My dad, being the way he was, had taken my door off because he didn't trust me for one reason or another. I just remember waking up, rolling over, and seeing this girl in a white dress in my open doorway. Her hair was black, and she had no shoes on. Her hair covered her face, and I couldn't see any of her features. I felt a foreboding feeling coming from her, and I just knew I shouldn't blink my eyes. I was afraid she would rush up and be in my face when I opened them, so I stared as long as I could. As I did, I just felt the pulling sensation as if she wanted me to come to her. I knew that this wasn't a good idea, and to be honest, I was just so scared that I was basically a statue. I stared as long as I could and eventually had to blink. When I did, she was gone. I'm not sure of what would have happened had I gone to her, but I'm glad I didn't. Keep in mind that during this time, I was too scared to watch horror movies or anything like that, so images like this were not normal to me. I wouldn't say that anything like that is normal, even watching horror movies.
Yeah.
You'd be like, what the hell?
Well, I mean,
it's almost like you can't believe it. Like, well, yeah, it's just like, crazy.
We love horror movies, and if we did our ghost hunting vlog thing, which you guys will see very soon. But yeah, I mean, I was a bitch. I'll be the first to admit that. I've experienced a lot of paranormal stuff in my life, but it's been so long since I have that the first little like touch that I had on like my arm, and then hearing the other creepy ass stuff that we did. Yeah, I mean, dude, that was it got me
100%.
So totally understand.
It's wild. Anyway, I had never seen her before and definitely not after. My second and last encounter came about 1 to 2 years after that. I had just come home from a Valentine's dance and was getting ready for bed. I tended to sleep near my parents' room if I could on the couch because I felt safer. I had a great night with no negativity at all, which is what I can't explain about this situation even more. While trying to sleep, I started to hear a smacking noise, kinda like what people who eat with their mouth open sound like. I was very confused, so I looked down the side of the couch at the floor and saw what looked like a head. I stared at it for a bit because it was making the strange noise. Eventually, it slowly started looking up at me, and I could see it had the features of an old man. It was smacking its mouth, and it looked like a lot of blood was coming out. I got so scared that I jumped up, stomped on the head. I don't remember feeling anything solid other than the floor when I did so, and ran into my parents' room. I crawled in the bed beside my mom and tried to sleep. I wanted to check my surroundings because I was still feeling unsafe. I saw the head everywhere now, like it had duplicated itself. It was all over the sheets and the floor beside the bed. All of them were staring at me and smacking their lips. All I could do was put my head under the covers and pray. I eventually fell asleep. I'm not sure if it was the toxic environment I grew up in or what caused these things to happen. I've never forgotten these experiences. Maybe some believers would appreciate this story.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely appreciate it. That's a weird thing, the head thing. Yeah, all that. I don't think I've seen even a horror movie that has that. So that is creepy. But yeah, just hearing like the, I'd be like, what the fuck is that? I would just think it's soul, honestly.
All right, story number 2. My best friend died last February.
Oh.
It was unexpected and not. Let me start by saying I have a terminal illness. She had part of the same thing I do, and I met her and her wife in a gastroparesis clinic about 10 years ago. One of those things where you see someone across the room and there's an instant connection from your weird to theirs. Get that? Get that?
Yeah.
Sometimes you just connect with people, you know?
Yeah.
They lived 2 hours away from us, so we didn't get to see each other much, but we talked every day. We both knew we had limited time. Trouble is you never know how much. I woke up the night before Valentine's Day last year about 1 a.m, literally choking to death. It happens sometimes with my disease, but this was worse than other times. I couldn't get any airway cleared, and my husband was ready to call for help when I finally got straightened out and could breathe again. I was sitting on the side of the bed when my phone rang. Odd for me at any hour. I don't do phone calls, and everyone knows this. When I saw it was her wife calling, I knew something had to be wrong. She had died about 30 minutes earlier of a heart attack. I was completely stunned. This isn't supposed to happen. My husband didn't mention till the next day how strange it was that I'd woke up like that, not able to breathe and choking at almost the exact same time she died. This also happened with my dad last month. Her wife thankfully spared me the details, but did say it was not an easy death. So as you can imagine, I was devastated for quite some time. Nothing seemed right. Why her and not me? So my husband decided to get me out of the house and go for a walk and try and get my mind off things. Another fun part of my disease is what my neurologist calls autonomic seizures. Basically, I'm good 1 minute, the next I can feel my legs, I'm nauseous, can't breathe, or speak. When one hits, all I can do is lie down wherever I am and wait for the ambulance. And wouldn't you know it, walking beside a stretch of the main road through town and I could feel one coming on. I tried to tell my husband, but it was already too late to speak. I looked ahead of us, trying to find a safe spot to collapse, and there was Heather standing right in front of me in her usual shorts and Grateful Dead t-shirt. She was just standing there smiling and holding her hand out. I heard her say, "Come on, baby, I got you." But her mouth never moved. She just smiled. So I forced myself to go towards her. My husband saw me holding my hand out and asked what was wrong, but he already caught up by this point and tried to pull me back. He couldn't see her, but I knew I had to get to her because I'd be safe there. I finally made it and was about to grab her hand, and she was gone. That was all for me. The next thing I remember is the ambulance. I tried to tell my husband she was there, she helped me, but I think he thought it was just a hallucination. But I didn't think so, because she had said she'd never leave me alone, and I believe her. It's a wild story.
Jeez, man. That's sad.
It is sad.
Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Both of you. Those are crazy.
Sad.
I know, we got super sad stories.
Okay, well, that'll do us. Like sad, dude.
I know.
That'll do it for us from the Supernaturals podcast. We hope that you enjoyed this episode. And yeah, I mean, I do hope that you guys might have connected with either some of the stories or our stories or, you know, something. But yeah, anyway, we'll see you back here in 2 weeks for our Scream special as we prepare for the new movie, which, by the way, comes out February 27th. We will be watching. We also have a new short film coming out on Monday, the 16th, so be sure to check it out. It was a lot of fun to make. Oh, yeah. And this one is actually made and stars
us
by and with us, which is really cool. I did just want to end this episode with a little talk about love. Because we all need it. Like, we all need it. Regardless of who it's from, partner, parents, your kids, your best friends, whatever. We all need love. And if you're like Jake, where you've been out of the game for so long that you don't really know what you're doing, or you're like me, where you just keep going back to your exes until you get beat over the head with the lesson, I just have one thing to say. Keep your head up and keep trying, because one day we'll all find that love that we look for. But don't forget to love yourself first. I know it sounds cliche, but I've learned that once you learn from your past relationships, you can take what you learned and make somebody else who deserves it really happy. So we hope that you have a very fun and safe Valentine's Day. And we will see you around the graveyard.
Dun, dun.
Thanks for listening to this chilling episode of The Supernaturals. For your protection, make sure to like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. And stay tuned for the next episode.